Good morning, everybody. Test, test. Good morning. I don't know if I'm broadcasting now. Shoot. All right. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. I'm trying to still figure out this new software. And I stopped the test and started a new one, and now I don't know if I'm broadcasting. So please let me know if you hear something. Say hello again. All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. All right. Well, welcome, welcome. All right, good. So at this very moment, a new trade is just set up here on the pound Aussie. At 7866, making the adjustment up to 66, and it did hit 66. Although this looks like, let's see, get my moving averages back up on here. Yeah, so looking like this could be a reaction to this move down. So what I really want to see is I want to see it test these lows and then come back up and then grab it. We'll keep an eye on that. And on our 8-tick momentum bar, was a rather quick and efficient one and done. Just a small little 10-tick trade. And it's hard to say if that, it looks like that was tradable. Did anyone take that? John, did you take that trade? You could see a couple others here. Well, this next trade here didn't get very far. But then the short hitting its first target, and that one's still going. But really, if you were in that first trade, you would have been one and done, and that's basically the stopping time for a small little trade this morning. pretty choppy too. So probably lucky to get out of that early session with a quick winner. Though it looks like it might break lower here. And then the YM. The YM's already one and done. It got long at 86, and it's just pushing up to target 3 here. Just hit target 3 just this second. And those are nice targets. YM has been a really nice early starter trade lately, as you can see. Hitting all 3 targets, trying to get to target 4, and the trailer is now up to 99. Is anyone in that one? I'm wondering. Just going around the horn here. Larry, you're done? You're done. Were you trading the YM? Unleaded gas got long and then had to flip over to short and then hit some targets. So cutting that loss in half, long at 6682, getting short, somewhere around 42, maybe 43, somewhere in there, and then hitting some nice big targets and still trailing. So this will be 2 and done. 2 and done's not bad. You could do 2 and done. You're in good shape. So that one going. And the stop is now at 6618. So not such a bad start to the morning. The pound Aussie is really slow. If you're in that trade, let me know. Oh, okay. So doing the Russell. Gotcha. So crude oil pushing back up and flattening on that after hitting its stop. Yeah, so I'm trying to test this new streaming software, and I don't know if it's any different than what you experienced last week. But with this new software, I can bring on guests because I'm about ready to launch our rapid fire entry tool, which you guys heard me talk about a little bit last week. And we're going to schedule that. I was hoping to do it this week, but then I couldn't really figure out how I was going to do it because the streaming software I had, I couldn't invite guests without it getting difficult. And I figured I'll just move up to a higher end package here. So that's kind of what I'm working on at the moment. And it seems like it's going to work great. So I'm going to get that scheduled as soon as possible, and I'll send out emails to let you guys know. So in the meantime, if you are joining me this morning, please say hello. Let me know you're here. And please don't forget to hit the like button down below because that really helps. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you click on the little bell next to the subscription button, then you'll be notified when we go live. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Armando. Thanks for joining us this morning. So if you're just stepping in, there's been some fast winners with crude, with unleaded, the YM, waiting for a pullback on the pound Aussie. I really want to be careful when I see a market capitulating lower with a strong action move. I don't want to trade into a reaction. And so what I want to see is it test the lows and fail, make higher lows, and then come back up and then take it. So that's how I treat a trade like this, because these are nice reversal trades, but reversal trades are going to fail in the face of a strong trend. And you always want to try to trade within the action move. That's not always the case because, you get V-shaped reversals also. That certainly wasn't the case here. I'm going to queue up another workspace that I want to show you guys some charts I've been working on that I think you might be interested in. So I'm going to pause for a moment. I mean, obviously the video keep going, but I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm just loading up a few charts here. So once they're loaded, I'm going to share them with you and show you some new things that you might be interested in checking out. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. So check out crude oil. Pretty ugly chart pattern here. But Spotlight's actually it did a pretty good job of picking up some of these trades since the morning started at 9. Well, kind of. Maybe not. Well, this is the 5 tick bar. Hold on. This isn't even the one I want to look at. This one. Okay, so Don asking about providing a trailer in the FX Synergy tool. So it's possible at some point, Don, but we trail a custom indicator, and we're all. I don't know. I mean, I think what we're going to have in there is the ability for the stop to move to break even. So once the number will get put in, when the price hits that number, then the trailer will move, or the stop will move to break even. But then trailing after that's probably going to have to be done manually, unless there's other trailing techniques one could use. Now, there are some other trailing techniques that Synergy might be able to do, but I don't think it's going to be able to adequately trail our balance line. And I'm not sure it's worth the effort trying to program that. So at this point, I would have to say probably not. I'm not seeing the cost benefit to something like that. But you never know. It's possible, I guess. We haven't gotten even close to that conversation yet, but just anticipating, I think, what would be involved to make that happen, it's probably unlikely. So I'm just waiting for some charts to finish loading here. I guess it's a lot of data. Hopefully it doesn't crash TradeStation. You can see my spinning wheel. Just about there. Okay, let me close something just to prevent TradeStation from crashing. All right, so I've been exploring a variety of ways to use some of these setups inside of the Spotlight Master Suite. And what I'm discovering has been quite eye-opening for me. And while I'm still in the midst of testing, I want to show you some things because, well, a lot of you know that I've barely scratched the surface with the Spotlight Master Suite diamond level setups. And what I'm discovering is pretty eye-opening. So I'm going to show you a few things. Starting with this chart here. So one thing I haven't done is really look at very many time-based charts. So this is an hourly chart of the pound Aussie. I figured, that's been a great pair. So, and you can see over the last X amount of days, there really hasn't been any trades. But if you go back further, these trades do pop up. And actually, let's see, this is the wrong chart. Hold on. I was going to show you this next. Let me show you a different one first. One sec. Okay. I went in reverse order. This one. All right, so this is your typical gold level, your basic Spotlight setups, your pink, your blue, your green, your yellow. Those three setups, I guess, because the pink and blue are the same setup. One's up, one's down. And it's an hourly chart. So what's really interesting to me is that if you have a time-based chart and you have big enough bars, it seems to work pretty darn good. So to give you an idea, I'm going all the way back to right around, the beginning of the COVID crash, once COVID crashed. Because prior to that, you kind of distort the results. And since the crash, you can see, now you might think, well, that doesn't look so great, $19 average net profit. But I am using just mini lots on this. So that's a 19 pip average net profit per trade. And if it was a full-size lot, that would be $191 average net profit. And it's, 267 trades. Now, of course, the TradeStation, you have to count exits. That's how it is with Ninja also. But the point is that without really doing much of anything, just popping this on an hourly chart, it looks pretty darn good. I mean, this looks like something you could make quite a bit of money with, just hitting new equity highs after drawdown. And you could see some healthy drawdowns and then recovering. And then again, and then recovering. And so this is looking nice, especially if it continues. There's no avoiding drawdowns, and you shouldn't try if you know your plan is robust and you will recover. And that's always the trick, is figuring that out. But to put on the default settings on an hourly chart, which is pretty much what this is. Let me just double check these settings, because I'm going to show you a few tricks after this. So you can see you've got your pink and blue, your green and your yellow trades activated. You got basically the same everything that we would use on the 8 pip momentum bar. Didn't really change anything. And maybe with an hourly chart, you could change a few things and get better results. Also, this is 24-hour. It's a 24-hour chart. because it's a swing trade, basically, an hourly chart, even though a lot of these trades are done in one day, which tells me, though, just thinking it through, look at it, it's winning 81%. It's really good. 5 losses in a row is the worst case scenario. That's not so bad either, really. Those are, that's what the drawdowns are, I'm guessing. Maybe not, maybe so. It just depends on how large those losses were. But, on the other hand, 36 winners in a row. So there is that. Pretty well balanced up and down. Remember, these are mini lots. So add a 0. We could put in full-size lots if you want to see what that looks like, but you don't want to overtrade. So back to the chart. You can see the last trade, a small loss. It's only a 20 pip loss. But the point is that you can get in sync with these trades. So for example, this one here sets up at 1 in the morning, but here we are at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. with the chance to get in sync, right? So that's how you want to do these. You don't want to be getting up at 1 a.m. to take that unless you're over on the, other side of the pond. Here's one at 7 a.m. And then, I don't know how quickly that triggered in, because there's one where you don't have a chance to get it. That's the thing with time-based charts. Time-based charts have their unique challenges. This one here sets up at 2 p.m., but you've got all the way into the evening, basically, 6 p.m., start of the next session, you take that trade. So if we just go back and keep looking, you can see that most of them are going to give you time to take the trades, and a lot of winners. And this is skewed a little because this one actually was a break even, but it's being posted as a loss here, this one position. We know that wouldn't be if we were trading it live, because we would have moved our stops. But you got to take some of these results with a grain of salt. But you can see that it looks pretty darn good, considering I didn't do anything. Just kind of popped on the same chart. So John's saying it's 77 cents a pip for the pound Aussie. I put this in dollar terms, though. This isn't Aussie dollars. This is US dollars. So one of the things you can do is you could set your back testing results to your currency. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this because it's interesting. This is this is New Year's right in here. So that skews the results a little bit because that's not a day you're trading. These shouldn't even be here, but I guess TradeStation decided to leave them. So there's imperfections with the testing, but it looks pretty good if you ask me. So now that I showed you that, I want to show you something different because there's so much you can do. John saying 77 pip is with the conversion. Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm telling you is that this is the dollar result. So it's not $1 per pip, it's 77 cents a pip, but it's still $19.13 average net profit per trade. So it's more than 19 pips, I guess is what your point is. It's about 25% more, I guess. Maybe 24 pips or 23 and a half or something like that. Average, right? All right, so then I did this, and now I got to get one more chart. And I thought, well, let's look at these other setups because I'm starting to look at this setup that most people don't understand and we haven't spent any time with. I included it in the Spotlight Master Suite because I always knew that these were great setups. And then I figured I would explore them when I had time. And the setup I'm referring to, of course, you don't see any trades here. This is a pickier trade. It's quality, not quantity. So you need to use alerts. With this kind of trading, you need to use alerts regardless. Or at least you could use what we call snapshot trading. It's a term I learned from Mark over at NetPicks. And the idea is that you have your window of time that you trade each day, and you look back to see if there's a trade you can get in sync with. And then you take the trade. And if not, then you don't. And maybe you follow a handful of charts, not just one chart, but you come up with a number of charts. And John C. with a good comment, yeah, TJ, but I am not at the charts 24 hours, LOL, and I agree. And you shouldn't be. But this is just testing and figuring stuff out. And then once you figure out something, then you figure out how to work it into your lifestyle. And so the idea of snapshot trading makes a lot of sense, because let's say that you have, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these. Different time frames, different symbols, different trade plans that all test really well. And going forward, they continue to test really well, right? You build it slowly, chunk by chunk, brick by brick. And then you have your snapshot trading. So the time you are in front of your computer, maybe it's after work in the evening. Maybe it's once in the morning, once in the evening. Maybe it's an hour or two in the morning when you're day trading. Whenever it is, that is your snapshot trading time frame. And then during that time, you look back and see if there's a trade that you can get in sync with. And remember, getting in sync is if you can catch the trade at the entry before it has gotten to its money management level where you move the stop, or before it's stopped out, obviously. And you might save yourself some losses sometimes, and you'll miss some winners sometimes, but you'll also catch a lot of them. And that's just what you live with. And like this, then you don't have to be in front of your charts 24/7, which, John, trust me, I'm with you 100% on that. I'm not at my charts either. Yeah, like the pound yen 4-hour chart with Counterpunch Trader, that's been winning 85% of its trades for like 15 straight years. And no one's in front of their charts watching every bar every 4 hours. All right, so let me show you what we're looking at with this. Now, I just showed you how we had the basic spotlight setups. Well, here now I've set them to false, and instead I've set to true the 3 special setups that most people don't quite understand because I've spent so little time explaining it. And these are your open on setups. Does anybody here not know what I mean when I say open on? These are 3 unique setups inside of the Spotlight Master Suite. And they're very unique trades. Like I said, we've spent very little time discussing them, and I wanted to start exploring more what you can do with the Spotlight Master Suite, because this is such a loaded tool set, and if you get it right, you can come up with some really great ways to use it. And this is one of those ways, and I'll show you why in a moment. So type in, if you don't understand what I mean by open on EMA 1, open on EMA 2, open on SMA. Those are the 3 setups. And maybe I'll just explain it really quick for the benefit of those who are watching this video after the fact. But what these mean, and I'll find a trade and show you. Here's one. Let's go to this one because it's a nice looking one. What these setups mean is that on your 3 exhaustion dots, and I'll mark them with these arrows. Remember, when you have 3 exhaustion dots, if they meet the criteria of the setup, it's the first bar that closes above the balance line, which is going to be either on the 3rd dot or up to 4 bars to the right. So in this case, it's actually on the 3rd dot, right? And that's how Counterpunch Trader works. That's how Spotlight works. Then the setup is what gives you, there's dots without setups. Like here you have 3 dots, here you have 3 dots, no setups, right? So there's more to it than what creates a setup. And in this case, it's the open on. And it has to open on one of our moving averages. And our default moving averages are a 20 EMA, a 20 SMA, a 50 EMA, and a 200 EMA, right? So there's 3, and you don't have to use them all. You could turn them off. You could only use one. You have flexibility, but there's 3 setups. And the way this setup works is the bar, one of these 3 bars that is associated with our 3 exhaustion dots, one of them only, could be more than one, but you need one to open on our moving average and then close up. Now, that's not necessarily the setup bar, but it often is. The setup bar might be, it could do that below the balance line, and then the next bar closes above. Remember, it's the first bar that closes above the balance line. Once that happens, either on the 3rd dot or up to 4 bars to the right. So in this case, it happens on the 3rd dot. But you can see this bar. Remember, dark gray is up, light gray is down. Means you're flat, not in a trade. We move over to the right edge of the chart. Let me make this really big. So you see there's the bar, right? You got your 3 exhaustions. It opens up. Now you have tolerance as far as how close it has to be on the line. And that's something that we just use our tools to test. The closer you make it open on the line, the higher quality of a trade you're going to get, but the fewer trades you're going to get. So usually you're going to give it a little bit of room. I think in this case it's 1 pip. Let me just look and see what I got in here. So there's a setting in the calculator that says, all right, so this is 1.2 pips, 12 ticks. If it gets within 12 ticks, the open of the bar is within 12 ticks of the moving average. So in this case, it's the 50 moving average, the yellow one. Okay, so that's what gives us the setup. Open on the line. Okay, so now that I've explained that, here's a short, right? It's a short, it never triggers in, but you got your 3 exhaustion dots with 1 bar closing down. So when you're in a trade, right, spotlight will turn green when you're long and red when you're short. So we're in the long trade, the system's in the long trade. You have you have a dark green bar on the 3rd dot. So that's a bar that closes down, and now you get the setup to go short. Never triggers in, but it's there. Remember, the bright color goes in the direction of your trade. So bright green is up, dark green is down. If it was short, bright red would be down and dark red would be up. So it always goes, the bright color goes in the direction of your trade. And then your grays are flat, and that's always the same. Dark is up, light is down. All right, so that's how the colors work. TradeStation doesn't know you're in a trade when you get the setup, because that might not trigger in. It might go the other way and cancel. It knows you're in the trade. Once it does trigger in and the bar closes, then the colors turn, right? So you have to be in the trade, the bar closes, and now it's green. So you have a possible short, but that cancels. So now it's no longer a trade. And because you have 2 closes above the balance line, or whatever the setting that we have in the calculator, but 2 is the default setting, and then you can see it stops printing. So the entry goes away because the trade cancels. So still in the long trade. And that's good. See, the cancel bars are great because this would have triggered in if the trade didn't cancel, and that wouldn't be good because what ends up happening is the long trade is what we wanted, see? So the cancel rules, all the little nifty little maneuvers that are built in make a big difference. And you can see that this ends up being a pretty nice trade. So first of all, let's look. Got all the way to its target 4, and you're talking about a 36 pip, 56, 76, 95 pips not even counting the trailer. It's a nice trade. You go with a smaller position. That's why I put mini lots, because it's a larger trade. Well, you're risking 44 pips. So, one full-size lot, you could go a full-size lot. Then what are you risking? 77.77 times 44. So it's not going to be $440. It's going to be less. And then you scale out at each target. So you'd be scaling out 2 mini lots, 2 mini lots, 2 mini lots, 2 mini lots, and then trail 2 mini lots, maybe. It's one way you could do it. With FX Synergy, right? FX Synergy allows you to do that. All right, so there's different ways to trade this. And the other thing you can do before we analyze this further is that you could set your alerts so that when the setup comes, it alerts you. It sends an alert to your cell phone. And then you've got 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe, even 12, even 13, 14, 15. You have 15 hours to place that trade. So John C., snapshot trading, right? Do you have to be in front of your computer 24/7? Maybe you're trading when you get home from work at 6 or 7 p.m. and you set your trade up in here. You still have plenty of time to take it. Right, some will go fast and you'll miss it, and you let those go, and they could win, and a few will lose, most will win, but that's okay. We don't need to catch everything. What's more important is you're not glued to your charts 24/7. But you could see that you've got a lot of time to place that trade. And that's what snapshot trading is all about. That's the Backpacktrader way, by the way, because that's a concept that just fits right in with our whole philosophy. So why am I excited about these setups? I just showed you the other setups that we're winning 81% of the time and making $19 on a mini lot average net profit, so $190 on a full-size lot as you leverage up and grow your account. That's a nice average. You got to take a little off for spread. All right, so what makes this then so special, these different setups, these setups that are kind of misunderstood and no one really knows much about them is, well, check this out. It's winning 91%. It's making $51. That's like 2.5 times on an average. Look at the profit factor of 4.44. It's only lost 2 in a row. And it's the same date range, same everything. And that's barely scratching the surface of what we can do with the Spotlight Master Suite. So just to recap really quickly here, I took a misunderstood group of trade setups that are in our tool set that we haven't spent much time with. I put them on a 60-minute chart when we all know Spotlight Power Trader and Spotlight Master Suite hasn't really been used on time-based charts. It's only been used on momentum bars and maybe tick charts. And then I didn't do much else. I didn't really optimize it. Well, actually, I take that back. I did some optimizing. So there's a few things that are different. So the other one I showed you was just default settings. This one's a little different because there are better moving averages to use with this chart and this technique than a 50, a 200, and a 20 SMA, right? There's better ones. And so this is where the power of the automation comes into play. And instead, I'm using a 47 and a 130 EMA and a 54 SMA. So that's the main difference. And we could run a test, and I thought it might be fun to do. We'll choose another pair and see what we can come up with another pair just for fun while we're in here. But before I do that, I want to just show you one more thing because I optimized this a little bit further, but I made a copy so I wouldn't lose this one. And the next one I'm going to show you is my finished result. Now, I don't want to over optimize, so there's certain things that I know what to optimize. Well, I think I know. I mean, we've still got to test. So I'm going to show you this one. Let me just make sure I got the right one here. Looks like I got two of the same. I have to copy the other one. All right, I'm going to do this. Give me just a minute. I will be back shortly. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm trying to arrange things because I just know how finicky TradeStation gets, and the last thing I want to do is crash. So trying to figure this out in advance here. All right, I think I got it. All right. I copied the same one twice. I meant to show you this one. All right, so this one looks basically the same, but it has some differences. Hi, Sam. How you doing? I just saw you say hello. Vicky, no, these aren't posted. These are things I'm working on now. All right, so this plan, I went ahead and changed a few things on it, and what ended up happening is the average net profit went up considerably. The profit factor is literally like, you got to be careful. It looks too good to be true. Look at that short. Look at those. I mean, anything over 1.5 is good. This is insanely good. And it never loses. I mean, it's winning like 95.5%. It's only lost one in a row. One in a row. So I'm obviously skeptical, but I'm finding these sorts of things a lot with this setup. This setup is very unique. So will it hold up over time? We'll find out. So what I did here, I only optimized a few things. Number one, I changed the balance line from a 9 to an 8. So it's just a tiny bit faster. I guess it made a difference with a 60-minute chart. Number two, instead of it being 4 bars to the right of the third dot, it's actually 5 bars to the right. It says 6 here because it counts the third dot, the 0 as 1. All right. And then I added one more cancel bar. So it has to close 3 times on the other side instead of 2 times to cancel a trade. And then the final thing I did was I added a little bit to the stop, just 4 more pips. So made the stop a little wider. Those are the only changes, just that. And it made a huge difference. So let's just look at the two side by side again. So we'll go with the 8 balance line one, the one I just showed you on the right. And the one with the default on the left. And then we'll take a look here. So this is the one on the left. It's not bad. I mean, who's going to complain with these numbers? They're amazing. $51 average net profit, right? So that's like, what, 60 some odd, 65 pips maybe, average net profit per trade. Only 2 losers in a row and a huge 4.44 profit factor. I mean, these numbers are fantastic. Then the other one, even better, with some slight adjustment. To me, that's remarkable. I don't know how you guys feel about that. And because I barely scratched the surface, a time-based chart, setups that really haven't been explored much, using the automation to come up with some high-level numbers without over-optimizing. Hopefully, it's not over-optimizing. That's why when you create something like this, you don't just start trading it tomorrow. You watch it going forward for a while. You want to see how it recovers from drawdowns. And of course, you want to go through it with your UTA spreadsheet and manually backtest it as well. That's the right thing to do. Because then you'll notice if you have to make key level adjustments, chart level adjustments that could avoid some losing trades, things like that. Yeah, and Sam, you know what? I got some other news for you, and that is the same trade plan we're using for our Trade a Day alert service, the identical one, the 8-pip momentum bar. I'm testing for a Asian session. Starts at 6 p.m. New York time. It does go longer, several hours, because those are slower trades, but it wins a lot. Has a great win rate so far. I'm not ready to announce it yet. And maybe we'll even start a service at that time. But if you have Spotlight, you can certainly do it on your own. So that's something else. I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff. Now with this, I don't even need this OSOB indicator. It's like it's on here, but I don't need it because it doesn't use it. It's only based on our exhaustion, our balance line, balance of power between buyers and sellers, and what line one of the 3 dot bars opens on. So this is a good example of a setup bar that was off the line. So here's our 3 dots. I just want to show you this example so you understand it. Here's our 3 dots. And you have one of the bars opening on the 20 SMA. But the setup doesn't come until 2 bars later, because remember, the setup bar has to be on the 3rd dot or up to 4 bars to the right or more, just depends, or less, depends on the settings, but the default is 4 bars to the right. 2 bars to the right is the first one that closes above the line, and that's where the setup bar is. And that's perfectly tuned. This is what tunes the trade. Look at the target. Look where it stabbed up to. And look what happened after. So it's pretty smart because the stop moves up to protect the position. You got a target that's been tuned to this setup perfectly. It only hit target 1, but that was 47 pips. When will Kevin sleep? Yeah, well, I mean, 6 p.m. is only 5 p.m. where Kevin lives. So, and maybe it won't be Kevin. Maybe he won't be able to do it. I don't know. That's all yet to be determined. Right now, I'm just trying to teach you how this works. So Spotlight, the Master Suite, has these amazing setups. And there's a lot more in there that we haven't even explored. Like, I haven't even tried combining all 6 setups to get more trades. We could do that. We could do that for the fun of it and see what would happen. In fact, let's take this the optimized one's so good, I don't even see why we would want to take that one. Let's take this one on the left. And let's go ahead and see what happens. It may not work, or it may work. Maybe adding setups is not the right thing to do, because the OSOB, the other setups have nothing to do with open on the lines, right? They're totally different. So, but if we want to know, just out of curiosity, you could open up the strategy, go down and start turning them on and see what happens. I suspect the results will get more trades and the results will not be as good. That's my initial hunch. So I'm going to turn on the pink, blue, green, and yellow Spotlight Power Trader trades. And in addition to the open on the line trades, just to see. And, a lot more trades. Look, 297. It's still an 80% winner. It's still pretty decent. But, it's a little bit less average net profit. But it's not so bad. I mean, it's pretty darn good, actually. So let's see maybe one of those setups, maybe we don't need one of those. Let's see what happens if we turn off the yellow trades. Yeah, so look at that. Now we have the pink, green, and blue trades, no yellow trades, and the open on the line. And check out what happened. Our average net profit went up considerably. Our profit factor went up considerably. And now we've got a lot more trades, and it wins 84%. So the OSOB trades which tend to be reversal trades, work really well in conjunction with the open on the line trades. Okay, it's not winning 91% like it did prior, but you get a lot more trades. So you're more active and you win more per trade. Let's go ahead and turn off, I don't know, the pink and blue trades and see what happens. Hopefully you guys are seeing the benefit of being able to use this tool, right? So the pink and blue is these. That would be this one. Yeah, so that's not as good. So it likes the pink and blue trades. So we want to put those back on. Let's turn off the green trades and see what that does. So the other thing is that the yellow trade is not on the 50 moving average anymore because we changed it to a 47. So maybe that's why the yellow trade's not as good. Who knows? But we don't need it anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's just shut off the greens just to see, just to finish this test. All right, look, this is even better. So leave the pink and blue trades, turn off the green trades, and look what happened. It jumped up to an 87%, $37 average net profit, right? So remember, with a full-size lot, that's 370, and a much stronger 2.71 profit factor. So this is not as profitable as the other chart I showed you, even though it made more money, because there were a lot more trades. But that shows robustness. You see, the robustness of it is you have 180 trades. If we turn off the pink and blue and go back to the original plan I showed you, which is just using the open on the line trades, you get much fewer trades, but you make more money per trade. Your average net profit goes way up, but you have fewer trades. So that's, you have to kind of see what's the benefit. What do you prefer? More trades or fewer trades? So with more trades, with fewer trades, it wins 91%. You only had 95 trades, but it's a $51 average and a 4.44 profit factor. So we know the pink and blue trades work very well. Do you want 95 trades or 180 trades? It's just a rhetorical question. So you could probably do a similar thing with this other one that's winning bigger. And the thing is, you could play with it and play with it and play with it. Not bad. All right, so I have some other things to show you that I think you might like. Let me get rid of these for now. Staying with our open on the line, I have a day trade plan that's very similar to what we're using. Well, it's not similar at all. Just one second. Let me just find what I'm looking for. Okay. So this is using our open on the line setups again, but this is with an 8 pip momentum bar. But it's not the pound Aussie, it's the Euro Aussie, and it's not the same spotlight setups that we use with our trade a day service. This is the new, or the other open on the line setups. Yeah, John, but that may not always be the case. That just might be the case with the set of data we're looking at. All right, so check this out. So this is the same window of time that we do with the pound Aussie from 8:30 to noon. And then it has power of quitting rules, and we can go ahead and go through it and all that. So this is the Euro Aussie, and I've been testing this for a while, and it keeps winning. So today, winner. Friday, winner. You see other winners and losers, but it's outside of our time frame. Thursday, winner, et cetera, right? I'm testing this still, but I'm forward testing now. And let me show you how it's looking. So this is 254 trades, and it's going all the way back to October 4th of 2020. So you can't go further than that because momentum bars, you only get 90 days. But even with that, look at this. A 3.08 profit factor, almost 90% winners. Look at the average net profit of $127. Now, that's with full-size lots. So if you were to put mini lots, it would be $12, right? So however many pips that is with a Euro Aussie. But it's only lost 3 in a row. And look at the equity curve. I don't know what that spike is there. I think that was New Year's. So there was a gap between the 31st and the 4th or the 2nd or whatever. So that's the New Year's, a big gap, a gap up. But there's no drawdown, and it keeps making new highs every day with no drawdown. Now, how long will this last? I don't know. But right now, it's going strong. Now, Sam, as far as the UK session, maybe. I mean, you use these tools and figure it out. But that's the least motivated time for me to try to work on, because despite popular belief, I need to sleep at least a few hours a day, and I'm trying to sleep at that time. I'm on the West Coast. So I'm not as motivated to look for stuff during that session. I will teach you how to do it. This, on the other hand, I'm motivated because this is right when I'm trading in the morning. And then the other one, the one during the Asian session is only 3 in the afternoon for me on the West Coast. So just to quickly look what this is open on the lines again. You got your 3 open on the lines, set to true. I didn't try putting the pink and blue trade on. You could always look at that. There are some customizations here. Instead of a 50, 200, and a 20, I'm using a 57, a 205, and a 22. So different EMAs or different MAs. Same balance line of 9. A 2 pip tolerance, so it has to open on the line or come within 2 pips of opening on the line. My crossover filter is the default 20 because I didn't test it. I just left it as default. And that's basically it. Let's see. Maybe not. There's a couple other things here. 4 pip stop instead of a 2 pip stop. So a slightly larger stop. The other one was 6 pips, if you'll remember. And that's it. So trying to not customize it too much. And this one keeps on winning. And I'm discovering this idea working on other pairs. And it probably will work on futures and stocks and all kinds of things. There's something about opening on the right moving averages on our exhaustion dots that is a powerful indicator of a high percentage trade. That's what I'm learning. And I always knew that. That's why I included it. But I never really spent a lot of time learning it. And now I am. But I'm also testing. I want to wait and see and make sure that I've got something that continues to, that can recover from drawdown. To me, that's a pretty important thing. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, let's look at a pound US. So this is the same thing, 8:30 to noon, trying to keep everything as, the U.S. session, same time, same start time as always. This is the pound US, and you can see today was a winner. Friday we'll look at the power of quitting, but this one's still not 100% on it, but the numbers look pretty good. You can see strong profit factor, strong numbers, and not a lot of drawdown. I want to see it recover and make new highs. So that's kind of where we're at now. The last time it made a new equity high, it had quite a run. And I suspect that'll happen again. So that just finished on the 28th. I mean, that was literally a week ago. So within a week, you've had a little bit of drawdown, up and down, but it's little off its highs, but not much. This is a good sign. You can see every other time it's come off its highs, it's broken to new highs. It's happened more than once. It's looked kind of normal. So we'll see. But that's why you test. But it's the same exact plan, right? Where it's got a little bit different entry, 3-pip entry instead of 2 pips. It's got your 3 open on the lines, and then you've got a 6 balance line. So it's a faster balance line. And then you got your 50 and 136 EMA and a 27 SMA. And then you have a slightly more tolerance or proximity to opening on the line, 27 ticks. It's amazing what you can do with this tool. It's winning 85%. That's a lot of trades, 244. So again, just barely scratching the surface of what this can do. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we add additional setups like the pink and blue, maybe, or not. Maybe you don't need it. One good trade a day, probably. We should look at the power of quitting that I'm using on this. So this is 2 wins or 1 loss. 2 trades total, 2 winners or 1 loss, whichever happens first. So if you win 1, you could take a second trade. But if you lose 1, you're done. That tested out the best for this. For the Euro Aussie, I forgot what I used for that one. So that one is basically 1 winner and positive, but you could take up to 4 trades. So you could lose, and then win or whatever. You could take up to 4 trades to try to get 1. And most of the time, you don't have that many trades. You get like 1 trade. But I guess there's some times when that happens. So again, you can play with these things. You don't have to use that, but that's what tested the best. Pretty interesting stuff. Any questions? All right, well, I'm going to continue to try to show you new things and make it worth your time being here. If you like what I'm showing you and you're enjoying the YouTube Live, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't clicked on the like button, it really helps. And if you could all just do that for me, that would be great. If you have not yet subscribed, you want to do that too, and then you'll be notified when I go live. John is going to be in here tomorrow. He'll be showing Ninja Trader. John C., glad you enjoyed it. So don't forget to hit the like button, guys. It really helps me out. And I guess if there aren't any more questions, getting ready to say goodbye to you guys. So I'll pause a moment here and see if anybody has any questions. Sam, I know you're up really late. Yeah, so Spotlight is, it depends, because if you got it from NetPicks, you may already have this, but since I left NetPicks. There's the Spotlight Master Suite has various levels from gold, actually from silver up to platinum, but silver is your sub-zero. We always include that with your gold. Gold is going to be your Spotlight Power Trader. Platinum will get you the automation for Spotlight Power Trader. So that's your green, pink, blue, and yellow trades. The Master Suite, though, the diamond level is what I'm showing you. That's the highest level. And that's got these new setups and others, including the dark blue trade that you see us using on some of the charts. And then another one, which we'll get into, where you have your moving average crossovers. And when you combine that with the exhaustion dots and the balance line, you get some really powerful, great results from that as well. A lot you can do. And there's filters, new filters. Well, not really new because it's been out a while, but the diamond levels. Yeah, so you probably have it, Sam. I'm not with NetPicks anymore, so I don't have any control over what they do over there. If they teach this, I don't think they do. If they have the member site available, I do believe that it's available. But there's no new content going on it. I just don't have access to that anymore. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'll continue to show this stuff as we're in here. And if you have any questions about any of my other strategies, we could certainly get into that as well. Catapult or counterpunch. You could always explore those too. If questions come up, I'll always answer them. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this session. Hopefully I gave you some exciting stuff to think about. And to be continued. All right, guys, thank you for hitting the like buttons. Appreciate it. Everyone have a wonderful day. Couple comments here. Mike still uses parts of Spotlight for his options. Yeah, I know. Spotlight's excellent. I don't blame him. Armando, Troy, I was with you at NetPicks with CPT, but didn't get SPT until after you left, so I don't have the platinum. Yeah, so diamond is probably what you want, Armando. If you want to contact me, I could show you what it takes to get it. Send me an email. Troy at Backpacktrader.com. Yeah, Sam, send me an email. Yeah, so don't forget, John will be in here tomorrow. And just really quick before we say goodbye, I will be sending out an email to invite whoever wants to attend a special session with my friend Martin over at FX Synergy, and we're going to be going over the rapid entry tool, which is going to be made available to everybody on our Trade a Day alert service, and when it works the way it's supposed to, it will be on the Spotlight FX alert service as well. And when you see it, if you haven't seen it yet, you guys are going to marvel at it, because you literally copy the trade, hit the button, and submit, and the entire trade is placed, all the targets, proper risk, proper position, proper exits, and no more typing all the time. It's just copy, button, literally. So we're going to go over that. We're going to show you how to use it, make it available, and just super excited. And then what's coming next, just to kind of squish the toothpaste out of the tube a little bit, soon you will be able to copy the trade right out of TradeStation's data window and then hit a button and have it placed on FX Synergy. So if you're not on the Trade a Day alert service, or maybe you're just using one of these other plans, there's so many you could do, there's so many pairs, there's so much you can do with my strategies, and you just want to trade it, this tool will let you copy and paste it literally like I just explained, click, click. That and I've seen already a demo of it and a beta, and it is working. Well, it was working on short trades. It wasn't working on long trades, but it will be. And John, don't worry, we're not going to forget about Ninja Trader. And if we can get it working on TradeStation, I'm sure that Ninja will come next. I just don't know how long that'll be, but yes, it does. It takes care of the spread for you. You don't have to worry about the spread either. But it's going to be the spread at the time you place the trade. And the spread's always changing. But you also get to have all these presets and things. So your risk, it puts on your position size. It does a lot of thinking for you. And you could set up, preset inputs. So it's really great. No, there's nothing like it. So this kind of falls into the motif of an idea I've had for a long time, which I'm not going to get into now. I'll just put the hint out there that this is all part of a bigger theme to be continued. All right, guys, fair enough. Hope you enjoyed the session. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on Wednesday. John, good luck tomorrow. Bye, everybody.